Stoic philosophy, although it emerged thousands of years ago, is still incredibly relevant today. It reveals simple yet powerful truths that can keep us moving forward in spite of any obstacles. The Stoics taught us that true strength lies not in avoiding difficulties, but in acting in spite of them. Today you will learn 7 lessons of Stoicism that will help you shake off the paralysis of uncertainty and force you to finally act. These are lessons that have changed the lives of many people and can change yours. Often we find ourselves in a state of inaction because we are afraid to make a mistake, afraid of judgment, afraid of the unknown. The Stoics taught that we should bravely accept the challenges of life without fear of making mistakes, because mistakes are part of our journey to perfection. Imagine this. The world around us is constantly changing, and if we don't act, we risk being stuck in the past, frozen in our comfort zone, and never achieving what we dream of. These 7 lessons will show you how to overcome your fears and start moving toward your goals with confidence. We live in an age where there is too much information and too little determination. Stoic philosophy helps us get rid of the unnecessary and focus on what's important, what really matters to our lives and our actions. It teaches us that we can only control our thoughts and actions, not the outside world. And that's the key point you need to understand to change your life. But why listen to the ancient philosophers, you ask? Because they understood human nature better than many modern gurus. The Stoics knew that the power of action lies in simplicity, in daily discipline, and in the ability not to be distracted by external stimuli. They had their own challenges, no less than we do, and they knew how to deal with them with grace and dignity. These lessons will help you move from a state of inaction to active action that will bring you closer to your dreams and goals. You probably know the feeling. You know what you want, but you don't know where to start or how to move forward. This paralysis of analysis, fear of making mistakes, or uncertainty can drag you into inaction for years. So you begin to doubt, what if I never get it done? What if I miss all the opportunities? Stoics say, there is no time for doubt. You must act in the here and now. Stay tuned to learn how this ancient wisdom can become your modern-day guide to action. These lessons of Stoicism that we will reveal in this video will help you overcome any barriers, internal and external. And you can no longer wait for the perfect conditions, but start acting now, because it is actions that determine who you will become tomorrow. Are you ready to change your life? Join us and see how simple principles of Stoic philosophy can become your powerful tool for success. Stay tuned, because what you learn today could be your first step toward the life you've always dreamed of. Lesson 1. Wisdom is in discerning what is within your power. Stoic philosophy is based on a simple but profound truth. You cannot control everything. There are things that are beyond your control and things that are entirely in your hands. This is the first and most important lesson of Stoicism. Distinguishing between the external and the internal, controlling what is within your power, is the key to true peace and confidence. Marcus Aurelius, one of the greatest Stoics, said that it is our duty to perceive circumstances correctly and to act within the limits given to us. When you accept this truth, you are freed from fear and anxiety. We often worry about things we can't change. Other people's opinions, world events, even the random occurrences of everyday life. But the Stoics teach that worrying about things beyond your control is a waste of energy. Instead, focus on what you can change. Your reactions, your thoughts, your actions. That's where your real power lies. This is the first step to action. Realize that there is no point in waiting for perfect conditions or trying to control everything around you. Take responsibility for your life, your decisions, and your actions. Once you free yourself from the desire to control the outside world, you will begin to feel freedom and confidence. After all, you can always control your inner position, even if you can't change the outside world. Imagine you are in a difficult situation. Perhaps things are not going as you expected at work, or there are problems in your personal life. What will most people do? They will start complaining, blaming circumstances or other people. But the Stoics taught us a completely different approach. Instead of wasting energy on useless worries, concentrate on what is in your hands. You cannot change other people's reactions, but you can change your own. You cannot control what happens in the world, but you can control your reaction to these events. This is the real source of power. When you realize that the only thing you really control is your attitude toward life, you gain incredible confidence. You begin to act with clarity and the realization that your efforts matter, even if the outcome won't always be perfect. The Stoics knew that the world is unpredictable, but our power lies in how we choose to respond to it. The next time you face a challenge or a feeling of uncertainty, remember this lesson. Ask yourself this question: which of these things can I control, and what do I need to let go of? This exercise will not only free you from unnecessary worry, but it will also give you the energy to act. You will find that your focus will shift from external circumstances to what really matters: your own actions and decisions. The Stoic principle of discerning what is in our power teaches us wisdom. The wisdom to understand the limits of our power and to use it as effectively as possible. You can't control what other people think of you, but you can control your behavior and your words. You can't change the past, but you can change what you do today. Every action you take based on this understanding builds your confidence and gives you the clarity you need to move forward. It is important to remember that action always begins with an inner state. When you realize that your power lies in your decisions and actions, you begin to act with confidence, knowing that you are doing the best you can. Once you accept this lesson, you will see the fear of the future and uncertainty begin to dissipate. Your job is to do what is in your hands and leave the rest to fate. This is the first step to freedom and confidence. And it is a step you can take right now. Lesson 2. Translate obstacles into opportunities. Life is full of obstacles, but it is how we perceive and respond to them that determines our success. The Stoics taught us that every obstacle is an opportunity to become stronger, wiser, and closer to our goals. Marcus Aurelius said, "An obstacle to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the path itself." This lesson teaches us not to fear challenges, but to face them with awareness and a willingness to act. When we face obstacles, we have a choice. Either we let them stop us, or we find and zero them new opportunities for growth. Most people see problems only as difficulties. They put down their hands, complain, or look for someone to blame. But the Stoics taught otherwise. Obstacles are our chance to show virtue, wisdom, and patience. They are opportunities disguised as difficulties. Imagine a situation where something doesn't go as you planned. Perhaps you've been turned down for a job, or you failed in a project. At times like these, it's easy to give in to discouragement and frustration. But the Stoic approach is to change your perspective. Instead of asking, "Why did this happen to me?" ask yourself, "How can I use this for good?" Translate any difficulty into an opportunity for growth. It is important to realize that obstacles are not the end of the road, but part of it. They are tests that test us and give us the opportunity to prove our strength and resilience. At every moment of your life, you are faced with a choice. Perceive obstacles as a problem or as a chance for growth. And that choice is always yours. You have the power to transform any difficulty into an opportunity if you change your perception. An example of a Stoic attitude towards obstacles is the situation of the great philosopher Epictetus. He was born a slave and was deprived of many rights and freedoms, but instead of complaining about his fate, he used these circumstances as an opportunity to learn. Epictetus showed that even in the most limited conditions, a person can develop his inner freedom and find meaning in difficulties. Obstacles are not what hinders your success, but what makes it possible. They make us think, plan, change course, learn new things. And every time you encounter a difficulty and find a way to overcome it, you become stronger. The more obstacles you encounter on your path and the better you get at overcoming them, the more confident and resilient you become. The next time a challenge comes your way, try to see it as a challenge rather than an obstacle. Ask yourself, how can I use this situation to become a better person? What can I learn from this lesson? This approach will not only help you overcome your current obstacle, but it will also teach you how to deal with any future challenges. Turning challenges into opportunities is the foundation of Stoic thinking and the key to achieving success. Every time you encounter an obstacle, remember that it is part of the journey. The more difficult the challenge, the more chances you have to grow. Obstacles are not to stop you, but to make you better, smarter, and stronger. This lesson teaches us to boldly go forward, even when the path seems difficult. After all, it is through difficulties that we become who we are meant to be. The obstacles you face today are the opportunities of tomorrow. And every time you choose to act despite the challenges, you take a step toward your goal. Remember, the road to success is never easy, but it's the obstacles along the way that make it meaningful. Every time you face a challenge is a chance to show your strength, your wisdom, and your commitment to your goal. Turn every obstacle into an opportunity, and you'll see your confidence and determination grow. Lesson 3. Live in the present moment. One of the main principles of Stoicism is to focus on the present. The past is gone and the future is just a projection of our hopes or fears. The only thing we really have is the present moment. This is the third Stoic lesson that will make you take action, learn to live in the here and now by focusing on what you can do today. Marcus Aurelius in his meditations often wrote about the importance of the present moment. He reminded himself and others, the past is no longer yours, the future is not in your control. You have only the present. This lesson teaches us not to waste time regretting what we can't change or worrying about what hasn't happened yet. The Stoics knew that by living in the present, we have complete control over our actions and reactions. Many of us often get stuck thinking about the past or worrying about what might happen in the future. It's natural, but it's ineffective. Expectations and fears about the future paralyze our actions, and regrets about the past can poison our perception of the present. It's important to realize. You can't change your past, and you can't predict your future, but you can change how you act right now. When we live in the present moment, we free ourselves from unnecessary worry and anxiety. The Stoics taught that every action should be conscious and focused on the task at hand. Whether it's talking, working, or relaxing, it should all happen in the here and now, to the fullest. If you focus on what you're doing in this moment, your attention will be sharper, your actions will be more productive, and your results will be much more effective. Living in the present means recognizing that the only thing that matters is what you are doing right now. Problems that seem intractable become manageable when you focus on one step at a time. Instead of trying to solve all problems at once, you break them down into small, concrete steps and act in the moment. This is the basis of Stoic practice. A constant return to the present, to what matters right now. One of the best ways to develop this skill is to practice gratitude for what you have right now. A morning that begins with an awareness of your current capabilities sets you up for a productive day. Take a few minutes to thank yourself for having the ability to do something right now. It helps to tune your mind to the present and get rid of the unnecessary burden of the past and the future. At times when you feel like things are spiraling out of control, when fears of tomorrow or regrets of yesterday are weighing on you, pause. Come back to the present. Ask yourself, what can I do right now? This question will bring you back to reality and allow you to focus on concrete action. Action in the present is the key to confidence and peace of mind. This is how you can make progress that seemed impossible. The present moment is the only place where life happens, and if you learn to focus on it, you'll see your confidence and productivity grow. You'll begin to better manage your time and actions without being distracted by things that don't matter anymore or haven't happened yet. This is not only a Stoic approach, but a powerful tool for achieving your goals. Every time you feel your thoughts taking you into the past or future, remember, life is happening right now. The only thing you can control is what you are doing in this moment. And this realization gives you the power to act. Live in the present, and you will see your actions take on real power and meaning. Lesson 4. Control what you can control. This lesson is simple but deeply important. The Stoics often talked about dividing things into those we can control and those we cannot. Epictetus taught, happiness and freedom begin with a clear understanding of one principle. Some things are under our control and some are not. This principle is at the center of Stoic thinking, and if you learn to put it into practice, you can not only begin to act with confidence, but you can also reduce the level of stress and anxiety in your life. Many people spend a tremendous amount of energy on things they can't change. We worry about what others think of us, about politics, the weather, or the economy. But the Stoics taught us to focus only on what we can control: our own thoughts, actions, and reactions. This is the key to inner peace and confidence. When you realize that you can't control external circumstances but are fully responsible for your reactions to them, your life changes. For example, you can't prevent rain, but you can decide how to react to it. You can get excited and complain, or you can embrace it and use your time in the rain productively. This is an example of how Stoic thinking changes the perception of everyday life. Control begins with self-knowledge. You must honestly recognize what is under your control and what is not. If you learn to recognize this difference, you will eliminate a lot of unnecessary worry and focus on what is truly important. The Stoics believe that our power lies in our decisions and actions, and that is the source of true freedom. Follow this lesson, and you will feel how it becomes easier to cope with difficulties. Instead of wasting time worrying about what you can't change, focus all your energy on what is in your hands. This will help you move forward, even when the circumstances around you seem unfavorable. Self-control is a powerful tool for success. Lesson 5. Action is more important than words. One of the key principles of Stoicism is the idea that action matters more than words or intentions. There are many people in the world who talk about their plans, dreams, and goals, but very few actually take steps toward achieving them. The Stoics taught us not to waste time on idle talk, but to focus on action. After all, it is action that determines who we are and what we will accomplish. Seneca wrote, "We must do more acting than talking. Do what you say you are going to do and stop saying what you are going to do." This lesson calls us to constant, deliberate action. We can have the greatest ideas and the most ambitious plans, but if they remain only in our thoughts and words, they will get us nowhere. Action is the key to real progress. Even the small steps you take each day bring you closer to your goals. The Stoics believe that any action, no matter how small, is more important than the greatest intentions without realization. Marcus Aurelius constantly reminded himself, "Don't waste time thinking about what should be done, just start doing it." When we begin to act, many fears and doubts disappear. Words can be paralyzing, especially if they are intertwined with excessive thinking and planning. But action creates movement. Each action, even if it does not immediately produce visible results, gives us experience and confidence. The more we do, the stronger our ability to make decisions and overcome challenges becomes. This lesson teaches us not to put off what can be done today. It's easy to get stuck in plans and preparations, waiting for the perfect moment to act. But the Stoics taught, there is no perfect moment. The only right moment is now. If you want to change your life, start with actions, not words. Even if the steps are small, they will yield results over time. Your determination and confidence will grow as you begin to take action. It doesn't matter how big or small your actions are. The important thing is that they are regular and deliberate. Remember that success doesn't come from one decisive action, but from a series of small steps you take every day. And each of these steps is an act of strength and faith in yourself. Action is the power that moves the world. It overcomes doubts, crushes fears, and gives you confidence in your abilities. It's easy to say, but it's action that shows who you really are. So stop putting it off and start acting right now. And let your actions speak louder for you than any words. Lesson 6. Patience is the key to success. The Stoics understood that greatness is not achieved instantaneously. Every great success is the result of long, hard work, and one of the most important qualities to achieve is patience. In today's world, where everything moves at such speed, we often expect instant results. But Stoic philosophy teaches us that the way to true success is through steady, slow steps forward, accompanied by patience. Epictetus said, "Nothing great comes without patience." He urged us to accept any delays and difficulties as an inevitable part of the process. Patience is not just passive waiting, but an active state of mind that allows us to keep moving toward a goal, even if the results are not immediately visible. Often we face disappointment when we don't see quick results, and this causes us to give up. But the Stoics reminded us that real progress takes time. You don't become a master of your craft overnight. It takes months and sometimes years of practice, deliberate action, and mistakes. Patience is the power that allows us to not lose faith in ourselves and our path, even if the path seems long and difficult. Patience also helps us not to give in to frustration and anger. When we encounter obstacles, our first impulse is to get frustrated and want to give up. But the Stoics taught that every obstacle is a lesson. If you are patient, you will be able to see beyond the difficulties to opportunities for growth and learning. Instead of giving up, you will be able to move forward, strengthening your skills and character. Patience teaches us to focus on the process, not the outcome. When you focus only on the end goal, each step may not seem meaningful enough. But if you learn to enjoy the process, each step along the way, you will feel satisfaction in your progress. This will make your path to success much more sustainable and joyful. The Stoics understood that patience is an art. It's the ability to see beyond today and realize that big changes take time. Sometimes the wisest move you can make is to just keep going despite delays or difficulties. Your resilience, Your ability to patiently work on yourself and your goals will eventually bear fruit, even if you don't see it right away. In today's world, where we are constantly surrounded by noise and demands for immediate results, patience is a rare but also a powerful tool. A patient person is able to withstand any trials. He is calm and confident that his actions will sooner or later lead to success. It is this quality that makes a person truly strong and capable of great deeds. Lesson 7. Accept your mortality. This lesson is one of the most profound and difficult to accept. The Stoics believed that realizing and accepting one's mortality is not something frightening, but instead liberating. When we accept that our lives are finite, it does not lead to despair, but instead gives us strength and clarity. As Marcus Aurelius said, you can leave life at any moment. Let it determine what you say, think, and do. We live as if we have an infinite amount of time ahead of us. We put off important decisions, dreams, and actions for tomorrow or later, but that later may never come. Accepting mortality allows us to realize that time is our most precious resource. It is non-refundable and must be used wisely. Every moment may be our last, and realizing this inspires us to live a life of total commitment, without empty worries and endless waiting for better times. When you accept your mortality, you become free from fear of the future. Fear of death is one of the most deeply rooted fears in human nature. It often paralyzes us, causes us to avoid risks, and postpone important decisions. However, the Stoics taught that this fear can be overcome. Death is inevitable and should not control our actions. Realizing that death is a natural part of life helps us not to fear the unknown and to act decisively. Accepting our mortality teaches us to appreciate the present. In today's world, we are often so fixated on the future or immersed in the past that we forget to enjoy what is happening now. But the Stoics taught that the present moment is all we have. Tomorrow may never come. This moment right now is your life. And when you realize that every moment may be your last, you begin to see beauty and significance in even the simplest things. Marcus Aurelius reminded himself every day of his mortality so that he wouldn't let pride, anger, or resentment distract him from more important things. He knew that life is short and that it must be lived with clarity and purpose. Let this day be your last, he told himself, to focus on what really matters. This practice helps us let go of petty grudges, unnecessary fears and worries, and focus on what brings real joy and fulfillment. The Stoics believed that the realization of mortality gives life to our actions. When you realize that every step you take is a step toward the end, you begin to act with greater determination and purpose. Your actions are no longer random, they become deliberate and meaningful. You no longer wait for the perfect conditions or the right time. You begin to live and act now. Also, accepting mortality helps us become more humble. We realize that not everything is in our power and that nature will eventually take its course. This knowledge teaches us to be more patient and lenient with ourselves and others. We become less prone to excessive perfectionism and self-abuse. We realize that all people, including ourselves, make mistakes, and that our job is not to be perfect, but to do the best we can with the time we are given. So you've learned 7 Stoic lessons that can literally turn your life around. These time-tested principles have shown us that real power is not the omnipresent certainty of success, but the willingness to act despite fear and uncertainty. Action is what turns dreams into reality. But the key question remains: what are you going to do with this knowledge? Will you continue to sit back and wait for the perfect moment? Or will you decide to take action now? No matter where you are on your path, there is always room for improvement. The Stoics taught us not to be afraid of mistakes, because every mistake is a step towards improvement. Today you have received powerful tools, but they will be useless if you don't start applying them. Remember, success does not come to those who only dream, but to those who make decisions and act despite any obstacles. Now it's time to ask yourself, what can I do right now to get one step closer to my goal? Take the first step, no matter how small it may be. Share in the comments what lesson was most helpful to you and what step you plan to take today. We want to hear your story and support you on your journey to change. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to give it a like. Subscribe to our channel so you don't miss new Stoicism lessons and other topics that will help you become better and stronger every day. Click on the bell to stay up to date with new releases. Stoic wisdom is the key to taking action and living consciously. and together we can use it to create a more meaningful and purposeful life. Remember, only action matters. Let this day be the beginning of your change. We are always here to support you along the way. See you in the next issues where more wisdom and inspiration await you. Take action today to see results tomorrow.